The Chinese economy is currently much larger than the Indian, with a GDP of over $14 trillion compared to India's GDP of around $3 trillion. India has a large and growing population with over 1.3 billion people. The challenges facing the Indian economy are significant. India's middle class is growing with an increasing number of people moving into the middle income bracket. It is possible for the Indian economy to achieve sustained economic growth and eventually overtake China. The Indian economy is the fifth largest economy in the world, with a GDP of around $2.9 trillion. India has a diverse and resilient economy, with a range of industries and sectors that contribute to its growth. These include agriculture, manufacturing, services, and most importantly, information technology. One of the key drivers of the Indian economy is its large and growing population, which is estimated to be over 1.3 billion people. This population is relatively young, with a median age of 27, which means that there is a large and growing workforce that can drive economic growth and development. Another important factor in the Indian economy is its rising middle class, which is increasingly moving into the middle income bracket. This growing middle class has increasingly disposable income and consumption power, which can drive economic growth through increased spending and investment. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. And today we are going to discuss whether it is possible for the Indian economy to overtake China's economy. It is possible for the Indian economy to overtake the Chinese, but it would require significant economic growth and development. In order for the Indian economy to overtake the Chinese, it would need to experience a significant increase in its economic growth rate and would need to sustain this growth for an extended period of time. This is because the Chinese economy is currently much larger than the Indian, with a GDP of over $14 trillion compared to India's GDP of around $3 trillion. To overtake China, India would need not only to increase its economic growth rate, but also maintain this higher growth rate for an extended period of time. This would require significant efforts and reforms to address the challenges and obstacles facing the Indian economy, such as inadequate infrastructure, high levels of poverty, and a complex and often burdensome regulatory environment, a typical red tape bureaucratic measure. However, it is possible for the Indian economy to achieve sustained economic growth and eventually overtake China. India has a number of key advantages, such as a large and growing population, a rising middle class, and a growing manufacturing sector. Additionally, India has a strong democracy, a well-educated workforce, and a diverse and resilient economy. By addressing the challenges facing the country and building on these strengths, India could potentially achieve the sustained economic growth necessary to overtake China. There are several factors that could potentially contribute to India's economic growth, including a large and growing population. India has a large and growing population with over 1.3 billion people. As discussed, this population is relatively young with a median age of 27, which means that there is a large and growing workforce that can drive economic growth and development. Second, a rising middle class. India's middle class is growing with an increasing number of people moving into the middle income bracket. This growing middle class is increasing disposable income and consumption power, which can drive economic growth through increased spending and investment. Third, a growing manufacturing sector. India has a strong base of small and medium-sized enterprises and has emerged as a global manufacturing hub for a number of industries, including textiles, automotive, and electronics. This growing manufacturing sector provides employment and income opportunities and also drives growth in other sectors of the economy. A strong democracy. India is a democracy with free and fair elections and a strong system of checks and balances. This political stability and transparency can help attract foreign investment and encourage economic growth. Fifth, a well-educated workforce. India has a large and well-educated workforce with a literacy rate of over 74%. This highly educated workforce can provide the skills and knowledge necessary to drive innovation and productivity, which are essential for economic growth. And lastly, a diverse and resilient economy. India has a diverse and resilient economy with a range of industries and sectors that contribute to its growth. This diversity can help protect the economy from shocks and external factors and can provide a strong foundation for long-term economic growth. The challenges facing the Indian economy are significant, and addressing these challenges will be crucial for the country to achieve sustained economic growth and eventually overtake the Chinese. One of the key challenges the Indian economy is facing is the high level of poverty. Despite India's rapid economic growth in recent years, a significant portion of the population still lives in poverty, with over 22% of the population below the poverty line. This high level of poverty can create obstacles to economic growth, as it limits the ability of people to access education, healthcare, and other essential services, and can also lead to social and political instability. Another challenge faced by the Indian economy is inadequate infrastructure. India has a large and rapidly growing population, and this population needs access to essential infrastructure such as roads, ports, airports, and power plants in order to support economic growth and development. However, India's infrastructure is currently inadequate to meet the needs of the population, and this can create bottlenecks and inefficiencies that limit the economic growth. The third challenge is that the Indian economy is a complex and often burdensome regulatory environment. India has a large and complex regulatory framework. This can create obstacles for businesses, especially small and medium-sized enterprises, which can struggle to navigate the maze of regulations and approvals required to operate in the country. This complex regulatory environment can limit the ability of businesses to operate and invest and can hinder economic growth. Overall, while it is possible for the Indian economy to overtake the Chinese, achieving this goal will require addressing the challenges and obstacles facing the country. If you found the video informative and useful, make sure to like it. Also, subscribe to the channel. Take care of yourselves and your families. God bless us all. Thank you.